Alright, Shalom. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash, no honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Wherever you may be, whomever you may be, whoever you may be, to you I say Shalom. Alright, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Alright, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Alright, now the name Satan here in the Hebrew, alright, Satanas, or in the Hebrew Shaitan, alright, it means what? Adversary, one who opposes another in purpose or act. The name given to the prince of evil spirits, the inveterate adversary of the Most High and the Messiah. Alright, he incites apostasy from the Most High and to sin, which is what Satan was set up for, the spiritual demon Satan. Circumventing men by his wiles, same thing. The worshippers of idols are said to be under his control. By his demons he is able to take possession of men and afflict them with diseases. By the Most High's assistance he is overcome. Of the Messiah's return from heaven, he will be bound with chains for 1,000 years. Now this is the thing right here where it takes you to a different thing, or not a different thing, but their understanding is off. Alright, now when it says that on the Messiah's return, he from heaven he will be bound with chains for 1,000 years. One for one, that 1,000 years was a history that already happened. Okay, which, you know, Western pagan Rome fell. You had the Byzantine Empire, then eventually you had the Renaissance period. Renaissance meaning rebirth. Okay, that happened already. Okay, second thing to mention is that when it talks about this, it's talking about a people, not the actual spiritual demon Satan. It's talking about a people on this earth. Those people are the Edomites, alright, beginning with those top bankers, alright, so-called elites. But when the 1,000 years are finished, he will walk the earth in yet greater power, but shortly after will be given over to eternal punishment. And that's where we are right now, according to Revelation chapter 20. We're in that little season of Idumea, okay? And it just so happens, according to prophecy, the season of Idumea is the last season before the season of Yahweh Shai, alright, which his kingdom will be eternal. His rule will be forever. And the last thing here it says Satan like man, and that goes back to what we just talked about, a Satan like man, because it is talking about a seed line of people. So Shaitan, meaning adversary, right, talking about a people here, not the spiritual demon, should get an advantage of this. Alright, an advantage means what? Alright, to have more or a greater part of share, to be superior, excel, surpass, have an advantage over, to gain or take advantage of another, to overreach. Okay, and then we go back to the word here. It says, for we are not ignorant. Ignorant means to not know, alright, of his devices. And that's where we want to get down to. Alright, devices is devices, and mental perception of thought and evil purpose, that which thinks the mind, thoughts, or purposes. And that's what we're going into, an evil purpose right here. Alright, or somewhat going into, because it's not the whole topic here. Alright, so there you go. I'll leave that there. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. Okay, let me hit that. So first I'm going to grab this, because I want to get to something else, but I'll grab this because it was a talk, right? Because we're in those times here. So it says RFK Jr. wants a wearable on your wrist. Alright, RFK Jr. wants a wearable on your wrist. Okay, so it says Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wants all Americans wearing a wearable within the next 4 years. He told House members Tuesday. Kennedy promised one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to reach that goal during a hearing of the House Energy and Commerce Health Subcommittee. Wearable devices. So if I'm dripping sweat everywhere. Hold on. Wait me 2 seconds. Okay, let's go. So it says wearable devices can include smartwatches and fitness trackers. Excuse me, which that technology is not new. You got Fitbits and stuff like that. Alright. Excuse me. You see the second one from the left? I actually was given one of those before. It was trash. It never worked properly. I never intended to use it, but you know, I just wanted to check it out, but it was garbage. Okay. But the point being, wearable devices can include smartwatches, which you see a lot of people with those, alright, and fitness trackers, you know, like I mentioned, the Fitbit, for example, like Apple Watches and Aura rings. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of that one. It says, and medical devices that monitor health metrics like heart rate, blood pressure, and glucose level. And see, you notice how they hit immediately at these types of things right here. because these are things that they want to incorporate into their ultimate device, which is the RFID micro C-HIP, all right, where everything's on a device. Okay, and we're not talking about different devices like you have in this picture, but different devices. Okay, I'm sorry, one device. All right. So it says Kennedy said the devices are key to his "Make America Healthy Again" agenda, which is largely focused on combating the rise of chronic disease. So that's basically their like their opening statement, right? This is what we stand on here. All right, that's what they're trying to say with this. It's a way people can take control of their own health. They can take responsibility, he said, as if your people are not poisoning everything, the air, the food, all right, the plants, whether it be fruits, veggies, trees, plants, sea life, all right, everything, all right. You're poisoning everything, but you say this, okay? He speaks with a forked tongue, right? And he speaks it sweetly with his lips, right? But he's always trying to see how to throw you into a pit, mainly you Israelites. But he wants to conquer the whole world. No one's ever done that before, all right? People will conquer like the known world, meaning territories that were known of, but then there were people living in places never heard of, never conquered. But they want to conquer, right? All the known world, okay? This whole entire planet. They can take responsibility, he said. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. Kennedy said he has friends who've changed their lives from wearing glucose monitors, losing weight, and freeing themselves from diabetes. See, that's called public relations right there. All right, where they try to give you something, to make you sympathize with the situation. Like, hey, I have a friend here who did this and this and that, and this will happen for them. Hey, you can do it too. All right. It's public relations. The continuous glucose monitors can be costly, from $100 to $300 a month. Wow. But Kennedy said, I guess they can fix that with the with the UBI, right? Universal Basic Income, right? But Kennedy said the agency which means the money goes right back to them. So you're really not even you're receiving, their device for free. Now I'm not saying that's the thing. I'm just making a point here. You're basically receiving it for free, but they're overshadowing it like you're paying for it, because if you're on the UBI, they're giving you the money to pay all your bills and everything else, including this device here. And then the money resets every month. So they're not fooling anybody. But anyways, but Kennedy said the agency is exploring ways of making sure that those costs can be paid for. He noted that Ozempic, the blockbuster weight loss drug that can treat diabetes and obesity, costs more than $1,000 a month. If you can achieve the same thing with an $80 wearable, it's a lot better for the American people. So is this another step to get them closer to being inside of their body? All right. So hey, this is better than this. All right. And then they'll come out and say, hey, this is the ultimate thing. It's better than anything we've ever had. All right. This will be inside your body. Even so, the wearable devices have raised ethics concerns, particularly over how the technology tracks and monitors personal health data. This data is often stored in the cloud and could be sold to companies, advertisers, or researchers without an individual's knowledge or consent. According to the Brown University Center for Digital Health, why digital health? The health information the devices can store is also associated with a high risk of data breaches and identity theft. And they always throw that in there, right? Hey, we have a problem with identity theft and, risking people's information and so on and so forth, to drive you more into trusting them with that very same information. The ones who are trying to dupe you more than anybody. All right. And doctors and health experts have mixed views on the potential health benefits of using wearable technology. While some see benefits in monitoring health and empowering patients to take control of their health, some practitioners are concerned about the devices fueling medical anxiety, self-diagnosis, and self-medication. All right. So it also says RFKJ told lawmakers health agencies are doing more to promote artificial intelligence, all right, and incorporate it into their work. Incorporate it into their work than any other part of government. We're using it everywhere we can, I bet, he said, citing diagnostics, paperwork, fraud detection, and drug reviews. Is that it? Okay, there's some more. we got here? Trump's executive order says scientific research should be conducted in a reproducible and transparent manner, and researchers should be open about error and uncertainty in their studies. Agencies explore the use of AI and other automated tools to manage conflict of interest disclosures, quantify uncertainty, and standardize transparent data reporting. They're saying a lot, but really ain't saying nothing. Let's go back up here. Restoring gold standard science. See if I can just get the point out of this. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe we won't be able to. Okay, so this going to other stuff. They have a conclusion or something now. Actually, that's a long list there. Okay, so they're just going into that. We're not going to get to that. So yeah, that was that. Let me go back to the top. I think that was it there. Yeah, go back to the top. So yeah, there you go. RFK Jr. wants a wearable on your wrist. So moving, these devils are moving one step closer to their ultimate technology, which is the device. All right, let me get something real quick. Yeah, Habakkuk 2. Right, it says, yea, also, verse 5, because he transgresseth by wine, right, which is his ways, his policies, his philosophies, right, his way, right, no other way to say it. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and hell is the grave, not some place burning on this earth with fire. Hell is the grave, and graves can never be full, because people are dying constantly, all right, always. There's somebody being born, just like there's someone dying, all at the same time, constantly. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. You see, he is as death, as we talked about before. He's the one destroying, all right, the quality of the air, the sea, the earth, the food, the people, whatever, right? He's the one destroying. And the scriptures talk about that, destroyed him, which destroyed the earth, and cannot be satisfied. All right, that's why it says his desire is enlarged as hell, because hell, the grave, is never filled. And that's why he is as death, because he cannot be satisfied. But gathered unto him all nations, and heaped unto him all people. And how is he going to do this? All right, through his micro C-hip system. All right, digital system, and the C-hip that goes along with it. All right, they go hand in hand. From speaking on, which we should be familiar with, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, 17, and 18. Shall not all these take up a parable against them, and a taunting proverb against them, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And this word thick clay in the Hebrew is ibat, which means heavy debt. Okay, and we know everybody's in debt. And we even is it a debt clock or a debt something? I forget how they call it, but everybody's in debt. So they're going to reset this thing, this system, all right, of debt, all right, and then everybody's going to spring online just free of debt, right? That's what they say. But really, what happens is you're still indebted to him, but now you have no choice, because the system is also through him solely, which is his digital system. And that's why his micro C-hip is so important to him, because that's how he's going to take control of the whole entire earth. Mainly he wants to take control of you Israelites because of the birthright. All right, so he put up to himself all people is through his device. Okay, and that's why we read that 2 Corinthians 2:11. All right, lest Satan should get advances of us, we are not ignorant of his devices. So once again, JFK Jr. wants a wearable on your wrist. These devils are moving closer to their agenda. All right, so let's move along to the next article. Okay, so next one says U.S. investigates Tesla's robo-taxi launch after videos show erratically driving cars. U.S. investigates Tesla's robo-taxi launch after videos show erratically driving cars. Now, the reason why I want to bear with me. Okay, so I thought it was a recording there. It wasn't recording. It's all good. We're going into it again. Man, I really thought it was recording there. Man, it's all good. So it says the robo-taxi's debut over the weekend featured about 10 cars with safety drivers in the front passenger seat driving around a circumscribed area of Austin, Although Elon Musk, the Tesla CEO, touted the launch as a huge success and vowed it would make driving safer, several influencers posted videos that appeared to show that robotaxis glitching or speeding. One video posted by a Tesla investor who formerly hosted a podcast about the company showed the robotaxi wobbling as it misjudged a left turn, then going into a lane meant for oncoming traffic before driving across a double yellow line back into the correct lane. No cars were in the lane intended for oncoming traffic at the time. All right, so basically the car jumped over into the opposite lane, the traffic coming the opposite way. All right. So it says in another video, a pro Tesla YouTuber praised how the car was going, make sure we're ticking, several miles per hour over the speed limit. Musk has bet a large part of the automaker's future on his robotaxi program, for years selling a vision of the future in which millions of his driverless cars roam cities all over the world. Both the watchdogs and investors are closely scrutinizing if Tesla can turn the possibility into a reality, or whether it joins a long list of Musk's missed promises. And yes, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, some people buy Teslas, some people scratch their heads about them, but whatever. I predict that there will be millions of Teslas operating fully autonomously in the second half of the year, Musk said during an earnings call in April. He made a similar statement in 2019, but here it is, 2025, right? The NHTSA does not pre-approve new technologies or driving systems, it said in a statement. Instead, manufacturers certify their vehicles meet agency standards. Then investigators look into potential safety defects. The NHTSA assesses reports and relevant information, then decides on how to address road safety issues. NHTSA will continue to enforce the law on all manufacturers of motor vehicles and equipment in accordance with the Vehicle Safety Act and our data-driven risk-based investigative process, the agency stated. All right, robo-taxis have taken on increased importance for Tesla this year as sales have fallen and year-on-year profits dropped 71% over the first quarter of 2025 amid backlash against Musk's far-right politics. So yeah, him joining with Trump and all that kind of stuff, right? While revenues have declined, Musk has vowed that Tesla's robo-taxis will become the future of transportation. So he says, right, it's not going to happen, man. We don't have that kind of time, right? Lord will, hey, anyways, because we can't put a time limit on things, but come on, man, these guys ain't just about to just get rid of all cars all of a sudden and just everybody supply with it. Well, not actually supply with a Tesla, but you have to call up a robo-taxi and it's a Tesla, and a car you getting locked inside, it's glitches and it speeds, it runs people over and all this kind of craziness, right? No. In addition to its preliminary inquiry into the robo-taxis, the NHTSA also has an open investigation into Tesla, begun in 2024, over whether the automaker's full self-driving mode is safe during conditions that reduce roadway visibility. A Tesla allegedly using the autonomous feature struck and killed a 71-year-old woman in 2023 while the sun was setting, casting glare over the road in Arizona. And as I mentioned before, because I thought we were recording, all right, but you mean to tell me that these cars that you want to make so fancy, drive by themselves and all this kind of stuff, don't drive better than the human people that actually drive? All right, because I was talking about when the sun is high noon and it's brightest, you come to certain lights, you cannot see that light, right? You're at the light because you have to stop, right? But you can't see if the light is red or green. You can barely see it. Some of you probably know what I'm talking about, right? You can barely see it because the sun is so bright. All right, so your human eyes aren't as great because of sunlight, just basically because of natural circumstances, right? But you mean to tell me this robo taxi, all right, this robo car you got doesn't drive better than humans? So it's supposed to be technology that should be able to detect this lady, whether it was daytime, midday, noon, afternoon, whatever, nighttime. It should be able to detect things and drive perfectly, but it's not driving no more better or worse than a human driver. But you expect people to trust robo taxis, man. Okay. Now this particular article here wasn't major. I just thought it very interesting because I thought about the a news clip that I had posted in one of the newses sometime. It wasn't too far back though, all right, about robo-taxis, all right? So I thought it was very interesting to talk about, but I want to get to the main one, which is next, so bear with me. All right, back to our scripture, right? 1 Corinthians 2:11. lest Satan should get an advantage of us. We're not ignorant of his devices. Check this out: blindness and visual impairment. So it says, amazing for blind people. App helps cricket fan find way around Lords. Right, wayfinding technology is intended to help partially sighted and disabled fans to better access live sports. Okay, this is from Thursday, June 26th. It says, in 19 feet, turn slightly left, said a robotic voice from the iPhone of Mashfiq Ahmed's hand. Look, it said a robotic voice from the iPhone in Mashfiq Ahmad's hand as he tried to find a seat at Lord's Cricket Ground in London. Take the stairs, it said, as Ahmed, an England visually impaired cricketer, tapped his white cane on his way towards the Edgeridge stand without any other assistance. There's one landing. Turn to 9 o'clock at the bottom of the stairs. You have arrived at row 5. Ahmed was one of the first people to try new wayfinding technology installed this week at the Lords to help blind, partially sighted, and disabled fans to better access live sports. So I'm pretty sure you already know where I'm going with this one, right? Now, I want to speak about this because it's pretty much GPS technology made for the blind. Now, because we've done several articles on we do our best to keep up with all ESOS technology, right? The magic genie, all right? The people who are can meet each other in their dreams, all right? Precognition, alter ego. We talked about that. Of course, we talk about the micro C hip. I probably can't even think about everything, but we've covered all of these, all right? Different technology, and that's what we do these AI chats to keep up with them, right? So this is GPS technology, which is no different from, because GPS does what? It tracks. All right, because when you use your GPS, phone, device, whatever you got, maybe they had the Garmin's back in the day, the actual GPSs nobody uses anymore because everybody's using their phone. But the point is, you have to turn on what? Location, all right? So it's no different, than having something implanted inside of you where you have your location automatically turned on, whether you know it or not, and it'll be able to feed you back from inside of your body, all right? So this goes in line with ESOS technology, his ultimate device here. But let's continue with this article for now. So it says there is one landing. Turn to 9 o'clock at the bottom of the stairs. You have arrived at row 5. Ahmed was one of the first people to try new wayfinding technology installed this week at Lords to help blind, partially sighted, and disabled fans to better access live sports. Waymap, the company behind the app-based navigation tool, claims the 31,000 capacity cricket stadium is the world's first sports arena to be fitted with a personal GPS that aims to offer a fine-grained version of traffic sat-navs for stadiums, shopping centers, and transport networks. Waymap used a 50,000 pound camera to scan every staircase, walkway, slope, doorway, and concourse to create a digital twin of the historic cricket ground. And cricket is a game, by the way. I guess you know what it's talking about. Allowing its app to guide people meter by meter to their destination. It has been installed in advance of next month's England versus India test match. The Marylebone Cricket Club, which runs Lords, believes it could also help other cricket fans find the most accessible routes around the complex. The idea is amazing for blind people, said Ahmed, who tested the app at the Guardian's request after playing in an exhibition match on Wednesday. If it works 100% properly, I can come to the train station myself. I can cross the road myself, and I can come to the stadium and find my way with the app. I know so many people who are into sports but don't go. This will push the door completely open for them. So if he's willing to accept this stadium technology, what's stopping a person like him from accepting Esau's ultimate technology? Right, sure, it says whole earth. Wow. Whole earth. Now, I know that's random, but come on, man. His shirt actually says whole earth, but it goes right along with the topic we're talking about. As I just said, what's stopping this guy from taking Esau's technology? Because Esau's technology, what he's trying to present is that it's more than I can give you GPS locations for you to find your way around. I'm going to give you your eyesight back. You see? That's the difference there. So if you accept the stadium technology just to go and enjoy a cricket game, which I don't understand. I guess he's just going to listen in. I mean, and he wants the feel of, which I'm not trying to be funny, but I guess he wants the feel of the stadium and being there and hearing the crowd and feeling the breeze, because if he can't see the game, he's not watching, so he's just listening in, and he's probably just want the feel of it, all right? But that's the thing, all right? Things like that Esau's going to play on. Like, hey, I can give you eyesight back. And you know who's going to make the bad guy? The prophets. Why? Because we speak against those things, which is going to lead to, we'll probably close with the scripture, depending on how much is here. Okay, yeah, so we just close with the scripture. So it was the first time he had used the app, and there were a couple of false starts. It briefly suggested he head in the wrong direction, and once directed him towards a staircase that was temporarily closed. It also stopped him at row 20 of the Edridge stand instead of row 5 as instructed. See? Flaws. Okay? But the problems appear to be as much down to the app and the user getting used to each other. How do you explain that? For example, the app needs to be calibrated to the individual's user's stride. Wow. That's actually more heavier than what you might think. The app needs to be calibrated to the individual user's stride pattern, which explained why it had directed him to the wrong row. It needs to be accurate and trustworthy, said Ahmed, who lost most of his sight in 2017. Celso Zuccolo, the chief executive of Waymap, said, Waymap is a new way of navigating. It usually takes a few walks for new users to learn how to use the app most effectively, and for it learn your walking style. The more you use it, the better it gets. Hold on. Okay, so it says, Celso Zuccolo, the chief executive of Waymap, said Waymap is a new, double check, okay, new way of navigating. It usually takes a few walks for new users to learn how to use the app most effectively, and for it to learn your walking style. The more you use it, the better it gets. so this brings a real big bell when you talk about Esau's technology, right? Remember that one movie, I forget the name of it, but it's about the C-hip where this girl took it, I think, and the device was, all friendly and nice, and let's learn each other, and blah, 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 all right? And then eventually the thing started telling her to do this and do that, and, she didn't want to do something, it would threaten her, and, it was kind of jacking her up and, making her do things, right? It's just a very interesting movie there. I forget the name of it, though. So it says the goal would be to extend it to places like Wembley, football stadiums, and cricket stadiums, and we're in talks with horse racing tracks, he said, adding that property managers could update the maps in real time if food trucks were positioned in different areas or certain pathways were closed. The app, which is already available for users of the public transit system in Washington, D.C., does not alert the partially sighted user to the movements of other members of the public, particularly those wandering around looking at their phones, whom Ahmed said were still the biggest obstacle to him getting around safely and comfortably. So if Esau was to present him with the ultimate technology, when everything's in the same kit and caboodle, he definitely take it. All right. So let me actually go here and actually no, not Timothy. Thessalonians, I want it. Take Thessalonians 2, right? I'm going to here. So it says, let's get 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except they come and falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That's talking about Esau, Edom, right? The so-called white man of the earth. Send it back to the banking families, right? Who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High, sitting in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High, which connects with the verse we read earlier in Habakkuk chapter 2. He presents himself to all people, right? In all nations, okay? Through his digital system and that microchip. It says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in this time. We know who he is now, what he's planning, okay? Through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Shah. So it says, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth, which is the heavenly Father Yahweh, will let, until he, talking about Esau, be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. Right? And there's no doubting, right? Well, there is some doubting now still. But when that time comes, there's going to be no doubting. Everybody's going to know, right? It says, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Right? When he comes in those chariots with the angels, right? Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. All right, not the spiritual demon Satan. Remember going back to 2 Corinthians. All right, 2. Okay, lest Satan should be an advantage of, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. We're not ignorant of his devices. All right, Satan, the word in Hebrew, Satan ben Shaitan, which means adversary. So it's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. It's talking about the people that come in his, in his stead, in his likeness, or however you want to put it, right? Which is basically saying it's an actual people on the earth, which known as the Edomites, which once again goes back to the banking families, the so-called elites. So who's coming is after the working of Satan, not Satan himself, but who's coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay, and that's what we wanted to get to. All right, speaking on the device. Now, the article is one thing, but the greater version of that, Esau is going to have that down pat, supposedly, where he's trying to give people their eyesight back. All right, lying signs and wonders. You see, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And yet the prophets are warning you: beware of this man, beware of his devices, beware of his technology, beware of his help, because his help is not always help. Actually, his help is never help. Okay, man, how's that verse go? Never trust thine enemy, for his iron rusted swords his wickedness, and at the end he will reveal his wickedness, or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but I think that was in the Apocrypha. All right, at the end, okay, he will reveal his wickedness. Okay, and when adversity comes, you're going to find him there first. All right, he weak with his eyes, but he seeks to throw you in the pit. You're going to find him there. His countenance is going to change. Right, those scriptures there in the Apocrypha. All right, in Ecclesiasticus. Okay, you're going to find Esau, Edom, man, those bankers. So those that get deceived, it says, because they receive not the love of the truth coming from the mouths of the prophets, that they might be saved. Right, by what? By coming to the truth. All right, in this grace period. All right, and seeking the Lord's mercy. And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Okay, believe that this man is great, or he's a friend, or he's a very good help because he gave you your eyesight back, or something like that. Or he gave me the UBI. All right, he helped me with the social credit score. Okay. Hey, I need to get somewhere, and he called me a self-driving taxi. Right, I was able to call up a self-driving taxi, and did this and did that. Right, you see, it's all moving. The ultimate game plan is Esau issuing his micro C-hip through his digital system. Okay, and that's that great hour of testing, like it talks about in Revelation. All right, the hour of temptation. Okay, that should come upon the whole world. In that world, there's oikoumene, meaning all the inhabitants of the earth. They don't care if you're old, young, or newborn baby. They want to chip you, especially double, triple, quadruple, especially if you are an Israelite, because it's all about the birthright. All right. So that's pretty much it. I guess I'll go back and get this for you again. Yeah, so it says amazing for blind people. App helps cricket fan find way around lords. All right, so that's pretty much it that I have for you. It's the end of that AI chat. Lord willing, you edify. To next time, Yahshua, I'm going to say shalom.